I'd like to call to order the regular meeting of the Village Board of the Village of Vernon Hills. A roll call, please.
Trustee Markwart.
Here.
Trustee Schenk.
Here.
Trustee Oppenheim.
Here.
Trustee Forster.
Here.
Trustee Lundin.
Here.
Trustee Takaoka. President Cook.
Here. We have a quorum, so would everyone please rise if you are able for the pledge? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay, we have a couple people who signed up to address the board. Chris, you want to come on up?
Three quick things on traffic. First, 83 in Westmoreland. Why we didn't have a deceleration lane when the 83 was expanded, I don't know. But 3 times in the last month, I've been northbound on 83. Traffic, there is no way traffic is going 45. They're going 55, 60 at least. And to make a right turn on Westmoreland, it's a very sharp right turn. I put my turn signal on at the street before, which it's into, I think, Saddle Club, I think it's called, the subdivision. 3 times in the last month, people have slammed on their brakes and almost hit me, northbound. And there's no way you can make an easy turn, especially if somebody is in the left lane on Westmoreland to go south. You have to come to almost a complete stop. What can we do? I mean, it's terrible.
Well,
On our road. But.
Yeah, either, I mean, that's a state highway, so either.
I know, that's the problem.
Yeah, it's IDOT, so,
Yeah, it's not our route, so it's not under our jurisdiction.
Yeah.
I know IDOT has a general complaints line that we use sometimes and speak to our regional reps if there's issues or complaints that come up, and we can certainly do that.
I never used to be like that, but 3 times in the last month I've
Are
almost
there
been
any-
rear-ended.
Sometimes there are signs that'll say neighborhood entrance ahead, but I don't know if that would really help in this instance, because the sign would probably be just as close as your car is
Yeah.
to the street itself when you're putting on your signal, so.
And the second one is, it's probably a lost cause. 45 from 21 to 83. It's getting worse and worse and worse. We bring so much money to the state and the county. What kind of pressure can we put on the county? And in turn, can they put on the state to get it widened? The rights of way are all there.
oh, yeah, we've done all the pre-engineering,
Yeah.
all of the right-of-way access, yeah. We've been planning this for 30 years.
I mean, they're widening other roads that aren't as traffic bound as 45.
We are all set with it. We went through phase 1, phase 2. Phase is, it's the money. We had the money, the state didn't have the money.
But they seem to have it for other projects.
We're put on a list. We were number 5 or something.
Have you heard anything, because that the new bill that came out with some millions that were dedicated to transportation and stuff, I know I talked to Senator Johnson about it about a week and a half ago, and she didn't know if we were on their new list or not, but every time I talk to either she or Representative Didich, it's one of the things, it's always at the top of my list.
Yeah.
I feel like we just saw the 5-year plan, and we were not on it.
Yeah,
It was
we
not
were
on
not.
it
That's what I
again.
thought.
I mean, they've had signs up there, lane interchange improvement coming soon. When I moved in here, that was 23 years ago, and I'm right off 45 over
We've been
there.
trying to get it since I moved here in 73.
It was the only good thing about COVID, that there was nobody on that road. I mean, that was the only time I've ever seen it. Not good.
But seriously, we are, I mean, every time I meet with either of them, and there's a discussion about, because we meet with them on a regular basis, and that's always right at the top of our priority list, so.
It's there. We want it, but again,
Yeah, we wanted
For
it
the
for
state.
50 years.
Yep.
Well, and
We
we've
came
done all the
close.
work of getting it ready. All
Yeah.
we need to do is get them to come up with the
Exactly.
money.
Exactly. And the third one, I think I brought it up before, is Lakeview and Fairway. Has any more thought been given to the three-way stop or a stoplight? We're going to have a bad accident there at some
Are
point.
you talking about the high school area, Lakeview? and
Yeah.
Fairway?
Yeah.
So
Right.
that intersection there?
Yeah, that
The,
doesn't,
the T intersection.
I don't think it warrants, right? It doesn't meet.
Yeah, we just
Yeah.
had our consultant redo the, look at the traffic warrants to see whether or not a signal would be warranted in that location, and they found that was not warranted. The way you follow through the traffic signal standards, the crashes didn't meet the criteria. A lot of the crashes in that location were rear end crashes, the highest likelihood that we were seeing, and traffic signals don't help prevent those. So that was the highest rate that we were seeing incidences. It didn't meet any of the other criteria to add a traffic signal at that location.
What about the criteria for stop sign? I mean, two of the stop signs on Deer Path don't even, I remember when they were put up, and didn't meet criteria. We
They
still
would not-
don't.
They would not be put up to date yet.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Linden and Linden.
You are correct.
Yeah,
I would say we'll continue to monitor it. We just looked at it 2 years ago. We revisited it again. We know that it's an area of focus, and so we work with the police department and the school district just to keep an eye on it.
yeah. And again, I think the speed is, everybody seems to be flooring it.
Well, we have a plan for the crosswalks over there for Cougar Parkway and Nike Parkway. That's been a long time coming, working on getting grants to improve more visibility for the pedestrians walking across, students,
Yeah.
people going to the athletic complex. But what we're also trying to do is create that corridor to potentially make, right now it's like a freeway, more or less. It's very, they're going to engineer it so it may actually slow traffic down a little bit, make them more aware the way the design that they're working on. So hopefully that'll bring a little relief over there. And we've also worked with the high school too, with that intersection too, because mostly it's, when it is, it's when 8:30 in the morning or 3:30 in the afternoon.
Right.
So, but they are doing, the one thing I did notice that the high school does now is they kind of redirect the parking lots by the stadium and the VHAC. They kind of send them out towards the other exit out of on Fairway, so they're not all kind of congested in that one area. So they are working to improve that traffic flow too. So,
Okay.
but we do keep an eye on it.
Okay, that's all. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yes, sir.
Hi, thank you. I want to bring up two issues. The more important of the two is the intersection between Museum Drive and Circle Drive. Circle Drive. That intersection was built about 20 years ago, and it was left unfinished. You have a crosswalk that leads into Circle Drive with no crosswalk leading into the mall. So people crossing the street there just have to deal with the traffic. Fortunately, in America, we don't drive like Italy. So it's not so bad. I haven't seen a person getting hit there, but I did see the results of 2 accidents there since I moved to the area. The intersection was built in a way that it is very dangerous, whatever you want to do there. If you want to turn right from Museum into Circle, you have to turn your head almost 180. You don't see the traffic that is coming. One of the accidents that I saw was clearly that. I was there after it happened, but from seeing the results, it was clearly the case. Cars going westbound on Circle Drive, turning left into Museum, have to turn right into the parking lot, make a U-turn, cross 5 lanes and take a right. Crossing 5 lanes, that's very unpleasant, especially because of the high shrubs that are growing in those small islands, so making it very difficult to see the oncoming traffic. So
Well, the problem is there's not supposed to be any left turn there.
that is indeed the
So
issue.
they're doing something that's basically illegal
Well, no, they're not.
unless they,
It is legal to turn right into the parking lot. It is legal
is a right in,
to
right
turn
out.
left into Circle Drive, and then they can make the turn into Museum. The vast majority of
museum is
cars,
a right in, right out only, correct?
But
The one you're talking about is the one that's got the pork chop
Yeah.
there, where it's a right in, right out only,
yeah,
correct?
so
Okay.
he's talking about going south.
yeah, so
Going south
the
and
way
then
to
trying to turn left.
negotiate this, cars, in order to do it legally, what we have to do is really negotiate with a lot of traffic, especially during the rush hour. That left turn, the vast majority of cars simply make the left turn illegally. It is far, far safer to make it like that than to negotiate going into the parking lot, making a U-turn, making a left into Circle, and making a right into Museum. It is far safer to do it illegally than to do it the legal way. So that intersection really has to be redesigned. Now, I grew up in Israel. Traffic in Israel now is unbelievable mess. So what they did over there, the vast majority of intersections were made into roundabouts. And the reason for that is traffic lights do not allow the same number of cars to go through as roundabouts. So it causes the traffic to slow down a lot. You have to negotiate it at 30 miles per hour at the most, usually much less than that. And many more cars can go through the intersections. That intersection is perfect for a roundabout. And now many cars are speeding on Circle Drive. I was one of them in '93 going 40. The speed limit is 30 and I got a ticket. I deserved it. There was many drivers do it still now. There are not enough policemen on Circle Drive. So roundabout will clearly take care of it because cars will have to slow down and you have the space. What you also have to do is make Circle Drive into one lane each direction, not 2 lanes as it is now. Now the 2 lanes are not actually being used because there are so many sharp turns that cars are going too fast to negotiate those turns in the lane. So cars keep crossing the lanes. So the whole circle has to be really redesigned the way Museum was built. Museum Drive is amazingly beautiful. The first time I saw it in the fall with the trees in red was just beautiful. The same thing can be done for Circle Drive. Now, the mall is another issue altogether. It never recovered from the pandemic. And it's good that they're building something nice. I have comments about that too, but it's not the time. Building a beautiful street there will help them. And I think the village wants to help them because we want them all there. We don't want another ugly mall like across the street where Walmart is, which is just really parking lot with a few boxes on the side. The village wants to help the mall, and one way the village can do it is by making Circle Drive into a beautiful place that will draw people. They will kind of associate the mall with a beautiful place. So that is one comment, and I see that the chief of police is here. Having more policemen there on Circle Drive is really necessary. I deserved the ticket 22 years ago, and many people deserve it still. So they're very needed. And in the intersection, at least until you rebuild it, take away the no left turn, because it is far, far safer to make a left turn there than to negotiate it the legal way, as I explained.
Thank you.
The other issue that I wanted to bring up is the lake north of the mall. About 15 or 16 years ago, you started cleaning up the lake.
Harvey Lake, are you referring
Yeah.
to? Okay.
Harvey Lake, and that was it. I don't remember exactly what was done 16 years ago, but I remember that there was a beautiful sign that showed that work is done on the lake. That was 16 or 17 years ago, I don't remember. 2 or 3 years ago, you started to clean up that forest. I still cry for that forest. I don't know why you cut it out. But anyway, you started to build a park there. And last year sometime, you sent a questionnaire about it, what residents think about it. I very enthusiastically answered it that we really need a park there and to connect it to Century Park.
That project's ongoing. Do you want to get a quick update?
Yeah,
We're-
but the
we're-
point
no,
is-
we're headed exactly where you're talking about, and he'll give you a quick update on it.
Just your one meeting too soon. At the November 18th board meeting, I plan to give an update on the project.
Yeah,
Yeah, we're going to have a full update on it, because what you're talking about is exactly where we're headed with it.
yeah. Well, the comment about that is when you start, finish. Because what you did 2 or 3 years ago, you cannot see anymore. A couple months ago, my wife and I tried to find that path that you cleared there that looked kind of finished. You can barely see it now. It is all full of weeds. So starting, stopping is costing a lot of money. Once you start, you either have to finish or don't start. So that's the comment about that.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Can we comment about the earlier?
Sure.
About the, so, yeah, so I wanted to comment about the Museum Drive, Ring Drive intersection there, and we've been talking about that internally, and I've been speaking with the police chief about it. I always turn right onto Ring Drive when I'm going south on Museum, and then I turn left into the mall, and then I cut through the mall parking lot, and then I personally think that's much safer than making the U-turn as you're suggesting, turning right and then making a left turn essentially, but it's really a U-turn, which is posted as illegal. Now, in terms of, and I've been in the situation where I've come into the mall and then turning right to go east on Ring Drive. There have been other people that were making that U-turn almost hit me because they don't see me coming out of the mall space as they're negotiating, making their U-turn, trying to look behind them and look forward. They don't see someone coming out. So it is something we have been discussing and hopefully will take care of at some point. Whether or not we can do a roundabout, we'll have to see. The part of the problem is the mall control. Do they actually control Ring Drive itself?
Yes, correct me if I'm wrong, but Ring Drive is actually a private road.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
actually a private road.
So that,
Yeah.
Owned by the mall.
I do realize it
Right,
is a
so-
private road.
Even on the Google.
And the reason I know it is, a few years ago, I saw one of the drainage holes completely open, cars could just
Yeah.
fall into it. I called the village and I was told to
it's
call
told
the
to call the
mall.
mall, yeah.
I think they will be interested in such a solution because they want the place to be beautiful. They want to
Yeah.
attract people to that
Well,
place.
I appreciate that. The problem is
The
it's,
village can help them in reconstructing the street. The
roundabout.
village is interested in the mall to succeed.
for sure.
We want them to succeed, even though it's a private business. The whole village wants them to succeed. So. the
Believe me,
village helping them,
we're all very interested in the
I
mall
know it's
succeeding. They've
complicated
been working
to
on
do
it for a
it,
long time. It's,
to do it
Yeah.
because they will benefit from village money, but
Well-
I'm sure there are ways.
well, we've been discussing the possibility of just putting a stop sign at Museum Drive and getting rid of that monument and just make it a stop sign there, so you're just making a standard left turn. A roundabout could potentially work, but those are very expensive to
And may require
build
more
those.
land than we have.
And they
here, so-
require more land.
But
and-
we'll look
and then-
into it.
But it's a good thought, but
Yeah.
thank you.
Yeah, we'll look into it. Okay. Next item is the village president's report, and we have a couple of items on there. The first is a proclamation. If the people from the high school want to come up, and I'll read the proclamation. The tennis team. This proclamation is in recognition of the Vernon Hills High School girls tennis doubles team winning the 2025 IHSA Class 1A State Championship. The 2025-26 school year is the 125th in IHSA's storied history. The 2025 IHSA Class 1A Girls Tennis State Finals were held October 23rd to 25th at Hersey High School in Arlington Heights. And there, Vernon Hills senior Paulina Masharava and junior Camilla Tomarskis were both state qualifiers who each won a pair of singles matches at state a year ago. And on Saturday, October 25th, 2025, they won the 2025 IHSA Class 1A Girls Tennis Doubles State Championship. Now therefore be it resolved that I, President Tom Cook, and the Village Board of Trustees do hereby congratulate our newest Vernon Hills High School state champions, Paulina Mashareva and Camilla Tomarskis, and the varsity tennis coach, Doug Gerber, on this tremendous achievement. Congratulations. And anybody's welcome to say anything if you want, but I have copies of the resolution for all three of you if you want to come up and do some pictures. Oh, sure.
Like he's handing,
Let me
go
give
ahead.
each of you one of these. Oops, that's
Go ahead, turn around and,
And I'll hold one up back here. And I'm,
yeah,
if you want to. Here's yours. Oh, it's for the school?
either the two girls left-handed, are they both right-handed or left? I saw that's what I was seeing, if they're lefties.
Would any of you like to say something, or maybe our new athletic director, Mr. Cooper, want to say anything, or?
Yeah, we just want to thank our coaches and family for always supporting us through everything during season. Yeah. Yeah, same.
Thank you for this. The girls work exceedingly hard. They were 27-0 on the season. they didn't drop a set in all of those matches, which means it's a lot. They beat Deerfield for the final, 6-2, 6-4. Got a little tight in the second set, but we were able to come through. But the work that they do both on and off the court is immeasurable, and I thank the school and our school board for everything and for all that you've done, because back in the day, I'm the original coach since 2000.
Yeah.
At Deer Path is where we started our tennis career, so thank you for those courts. We appreciated those before we got ours. So this is the first time in school history we've had a state championship for boys or girls. And and also a fourth place finish for the team at state. The boys have done that as well, but we've never had anyone on the front half of the draw, but these two have. Paulina is a senior. She's looking to play some college tennis, and Camilla will be back for us again next year. So thank you.
Well, congratulations.
Good job.
Thank you.
I'd like to acknowledge, you guys won the state championship, but it's that journey. Like, when did it start for you? How old were you guys when you first started playing tennis?
I started when I was 11 or 10. I started playing when I was like 4 or 5.
Oh my gosh. And parents, I mean, great job, wonderful. I'm sure you've thanked your parents over and over, because that's what kids do today, right? But congratulations. Congratulations on everything, on the journey and representing Vernon Hills in the state championship. You did very well, and good luck with all your future endeavors.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much.
Congratulations. Okay. All right. Let me pull up the other resolution here. I don't,
Yeah, I didn't, well,
yeah, no, I okay. Our next item, and it goes with this high school's athletic fields and that, is approval and passage of Resolution 2025-058, a resolution dedicating the street of Cougar Way as Honorary U.S.S. Wolverine and the street of Nike Parkway as U.S.S. Sable in commemoration of their role in preparing naval aviators for duty in the Pacific during World War II. And I'll read the proclamation. The current site of the Vernon Hills Athletic Conference was formerly the site of a military airfield. During World War II, a naval aviator training program was implemented in preparation for combat in the Pacific, and 17,820 naval aviators were trained in what is presently Vernon Hills. The naval aviators were required to demonstrate proficiency with takeoffs and landings on a simulated aircraft carrier landing deck located on the military airfield. Once the proficiency was demonstrated, the aviators were required to conduct landings on aircraft carriers located on Lake Michigan. The two side-wheeled steam-powered cruise ships were converted to aircraft carriers and rechristened the U.S.S. Sable and the U.S.S. Wolverine. In partnership with the American Legion, Vernon Hills Post 1247, the village desires to designate these honorary street signs at Cougar Way in honor of the U.S.S. Wolverine and at Nike Parkway in honor of the U.S.S. Sable in recognition of this historical moment in our nation's history. Now therefore be it resolved by the President and the Board of Trustees that the above identified streets have honorary signage commemorating the service of the U.S.S. Wolverine and the U.S.S. Sable. And so we need a vote on that, correct? Yes, sir. Is there a motion to approve that? Then we'll talk a little more about it.
motion to approve.
Second.
We have a motion, a second. Any comments or questions? Hearing none, roll call, please.
Trustee Markwart.
Aye.
Trustee Oppenheim.
Aye.
Trustee Forster. Aye. Trustee Schenk.
Aye.
Trustee Lundin.
Aye.
President Cook.
Aye. Motion carries.
Hold one and you hold the other.
Yeah, you want, these are the commemorative signs, and anybody from the Legion wish to come up and make a statement or two here? These are the signs that will go up there, so.
They should all be up there. And they all be up there. John,
It's only Craig.
John and Bill, get up there.
We're used to that. I wouldn't recognize a picture of Bill if he was smiling. Okay. And then these will get put up. You guys want to say anything, or? Yeah, we will. Then we're giving these back to you, Chris, so they can go up, right?
One, I'm Commander Todd Renahan. Appreciate the village going forth with this. We started with the historical marker back in 19. Seems like a couple days ago, but it's a few more years ago than that, before COVID. And you don't realize where you live until you do a little bit of research, and that was quite a place. It's way before Vernon Hill was here, right? So, but this year, October 13th, not too many weeks ago, the Navy turned up 250 years old. In another week, on November 10th, ask any Marine what day it is, and they'll say it's the Marine Corps birthday, right?
Correct.
Okay, and so that's 250 years. We know the Army turned 250 years, so it's a big year. And then November 11th is Veterans Day. So we've got, the schools always have a nice event for the veterans, young and old. The kids come out and ask us old people what the questions were, all that, where'd you fight in the war, and all those other good things. And then we've got the banner presentation on Tuesday the 18th. And that's, again, that brings tears to our eyes that you commemorate the veterans like that. And here it is. I think we've done it for 4 years now, and we see the folks in the spring and they're excited, and then I'm at that age where I see them in the fall and I think, I saw you, didn't I? Yeah, yes, you did, sir. So looking forward to next year and continuing on with that. And it is something to see those banners, and we'll pass those out. And John's been helping us with that all these years, so it's great to see that. And just can't thank the board enough for all your support for the older veterans, the younger veterans, and the veterans to come. So thank you so much. Appreciate it.
Well, and as Coach Gerber pointed out, the high school's, been there the 25 years, and you've been around. The main reason that high school's where it is because we were able to get all of that land from the BRAC Commission when they decertified it as a military base and were giving land away, and we got 160 some acres of free land, and so it made it the perfect place to put the high school because we had all that land for athletic fields. So we need to commemorate, what it was beforehand. So
That's right. So yeah, thank you so much. We appreciate it. Looking forward to those. Do we have a date when that's going up? Monday at 8 o'clock?
Hoping to get up this week.
When was that?
Hoping to get them up this week.
Oh, even better. Okay, perfect. Very good. All right.
Yeah, Monday, baby.
Thanks so much. Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you. Okay, then we're about to get into our actual business part, so if you were here for like a proclamation or something, we'll take a moment to let you, you don't have to stay for the whole meeting, so.
Did she put that?
Okay. Next item is the village manager, correct? The village board meeting calendar review?
Yes, sir. Thank you. As the board is familiar, it's customary that this time of year, we review the upcoming calendar for the 2026 meeting schedule. This is a requirement of the Open Meetings Act to approve and publish the calendar for the upcoming year. I just wanted to take a moment with the board to review what we're proposing for 2026 and highlight a couple of changes from our past practice. Beginning in January, we typically have a normal schedule in January, the first and third Tuesday of the month. We are proposing a change for 2026 to drop to one meeting to move the typical first Tuesday back to the second Tuesday. That's primarily due to the holiday weeks falling in the weeks prior. We've noticed in the last few years that it's been somewhat challenging to get a hearty agenda in that first meeting of the year. There's also people that are coming back from vacations from the winter holiday. It's also been proven challenging to get outside parties that perhaps have agenda items to participate in those meetings. So we're proposing to drop to one meeting in January. We would have our same schedule for February, first and third Tuesday. I do want to note there is a change to March and November from what was published in your packet. Actually, just last week in the veto session in Springfield, there was a new law that was passed by the House and Senate that essentially says that you're no longer allowed to have a meeting on the day of an election. And so we have two elections in 2026. We have the general primary on March 17th and the general election on November 3rd. So we're proposing in those months to move those respective meetings to the preceding Monday, the Monday before.
So it'd be March 2nd and
March 16th. So it's on the screen in front of you is what we're proposing. So
the
March,
primary's on the 17th, not,
the primary is on the 17th.
oh, I thought the primary's on the
Yeah.
3rd. Okay. What's that? November 3rd. No, but I thought the primary was also the 3rd, but yeah.
So we're proposing Monday, March 16th in lieu of the 17th, and then Monday, November 2nd in lieu of November 3rd. And then with that, we would hold our two budget meetings. So we're our first budget hearing on February 17th, with our second budgeting hearing on March 3rd, and then a tentative public hearing for the budget on then March 16th, the Monday, with a budget approval at our meeting on April 7th. Normal meeting schedule for April, May, and June, and July. August is our customary one meeting a month. Normal schedule then again in September, October. November, I noted the minor change to that one day, and then our one meeting in December. So we're really just looking for feedback this evening. Take this feedback to our next village board meeting to approve the calendar for 2026.
Is what it is.
This is what it is.
All good.
I thought you were pulling the 17th for St. Patrick's Day.
I'm sorry?
Yeah.
I thought you were pulling like St. Patrick's Day.
Well, two birds with one stone.
There you go.
Yeah. And then with that, I did want to just make a quick note to the board. Item H on the omnibus agenda is a proposed amendment to the village code. This essentially does two things. One, it establishes a formal procedure for the paying of bills, and it also provides a procedure for staff to continue to pay bills in situations where we either have a canceled board meeting or when we only have one meeting in a month, and there's several weeks between those meetings. Currently, right now, we don't have such a procedure, and so there are times where bills are being held up to wait for the next board meeting. So under this proposed structure, essentially the finance director would issue a normal report on the first and third Tuesday of the month. If we are going to have a canceled board meeting, that report would still be issued to the board. There'd be a week of review, and if there's any feedback, so for example, if there's an item that the board would want pulled, that item would be pulled, the rest of the bills would be paid, and then the bill warrant list would be ratified at the following board meeting. So this is basically just a measure to help make sure we can stay with efficient payment processing and continue village operations when we do have those gaps. So that's item H on the omnibus agenda.
Okay. Any questions or comments regarding either item H or the calendar?
We don't need to pull this vote separately. It doesn't make a difference.
No vote required on the calendar tonight. We'll have it for approval at the next board meeting.
All right. Okay. Next person, Finance Director, yours is just part of the, or did you have something you wanted?
No prepared comments, but
Okay.
happy to answer any questions
Okay.
on the cash and investment balance reports.
All right, then, before we get to that stuff, the next would be Chief. You've got a couple things here.
Yes, sir. Just, Mr. President of the Board, just wanted to update. Last Thursday was the last day of operations for the Vernon Hills Communication Center, the Emergency 911 Center that we've operated jointly with Countryside Fire Protection District. Both of those dispatch centers folded into LakeComm the consolidated countywide effort that we've been a part of for the better part of 8 years. Really in earnest, the last 5 years have been working hard to see this through. It's been a tremendous amount of teamwork. I never miss an opportunity to recognize all the folks that made this possible, but really the Lake County Board's vision and leadership was instrumental in the financing of the facility that is so essential. But all of the more than 30 police and fire entities and those municipalities that came together to make this happen were instrumental in seeing this success through. So today, the next transition went, and then we expect this Thursday, in 2 days, the final transition of the last dispatch center will take place. And with that, that'll be over 30 police and fire jurisdictions that are operating under LakeComm. I can tell you that the word on the street from the police officers is the transition went without a hitch. They're seeing a great level of service by LakeComm, and we're hearing the feedback from our employees that made that transition, which is most of them, to LakeComm, are pleased and satisfied with the work environment that they've found themselves being part of. So really something that I think the whole community can be proud of. And bottom line on this just enhances public safety throughout the village. We know that people don't call 911 always from their house or even from work. They call it from a park, they call it from the street. And this system is much, much better, a unified, consolidated approach, much, much better than the bifurcated approach that we had throughout the county. You remember the maps we used to show of the jigsaw puzzle of where your call might go depending on where you were, and LakeComm's made a great effort to resolve that. So thank you for all of your support. The Vernon Hills Village Board has been completely supportive of all our requests to see this journey through, and just proud to see that we're over the finish line.
Well, and Chief, it goes out saying the incredible work you and members of your department put in, and Manager Timoney, not only working on behalf of the village, but stepping up and being the director of LakeComm. The effort you two gentlemen put in was just amazing at getting this up and running. Because you're right, it is much better. I've said it before. I found out how bad it was when I had that accidental 911 call while trying to turn off a cell phone.
Yeah.
And it got picked up. I was in my house, but it got picked up by Mundelein because the closest cell tower was actually in Mundelein's jurisdiction.
Yeah.
And had it been a real emergency, they would have then had to transfer it. And this takes all that kind of potential mistakes out of the whole system. So,
Yep.
Other comments from the
I
board?
would say honestly, a big thank you, because this is something that started off, years, and the effort that staff, chief, Evan, have put into this has been outstanding. So, great job.
Thank you.
You both went well above and beyond what would normally have been necessary for our village, and we really appreciate it.
Of course. Thank you. The other thing I wanted to brief the board on is that as part of this transition, we've actually been able to onboard now our first in a long time, full-time social services employee with the police department. With that being said, her position is in the police department, but she's really a social service provider for the whole community. And you're going to see Ariana Crutchfield out in the community as part of the department, interacting with other social service providers throughout the community, really just enabling us in the police department as we encounter oftentimes people in crisis to provide much more wraparound services to people that we serve. So something that the board supported in last year for this year's budget. We found the right person, and we're able to have her now hit the ground running, and you can expect to see more from Ariana and the rest of the team, and definitely just a better level of service that we're going to be able to provide versus the former contractual level of services we were providing. So happy to announce that. Any
Okay.
questions?
Comments or questions from the board?
I don't have any comments about that, but thank you once again for everything you've done for the consolidated system. I do have a question about something else, though, if that's okay now.
Sure.
So I saw an online video article about the flock camera system. I don't know if you've been seeing a lot of these articles recently.
Yes, sir.
Has anything changed compared to what was first presented to us in the way the data is held and way it's transmitted across the country?
Yeah, there's been a lot of articles. There's been some criticism. I can tell you that it's something I've watched closely. I can assure you that we have made some changes internally as Flock continues to enhance the protections that they have built in that system. But bottom line, we use this system only for investigation of criminal matters that occur within the community. And there have been criticisms. This really stems from Illinois being the only state in the country that puts restrictions on how license plate reader cameras are used, in particular for enforcement of immigration or healthcare related matters. As you're well aware, the Vernon Hills Police Department has no role in civil immigration enforcement or in enforcement of healthcare related matters. The criticism comes from some of the data sharing agreements and the safeguards that not just Flock but other vendors put in place when Illinois passed this law, and found that in some cases there were some inquiries, although not release of information, but inquiries done for inappropriate matters out of state, and in some cases inquiries made for alleged inappropriate matters out of state that were not. And the one that sparked all of this criticism came out of a matter in Texas where a young lady ran away. Family reported her missing and was concerned because she was reportedly to have undergone and administered abortion a day earlier, and that was put in the notes of the field. They were only concerned for her well-being. In fact, she was located some time later, but because the word abortion was put in the notes of this search, that got some advocates concerned about how the system was used. So I can assure you I'm watching it closely. We put some measures in place to make sure that our data is not used inappropriately by any other agency.
So how do we prevent that? How do you know that it's not? And specifically, there are discussion about ICE using it across
Sure.
the country.
So first of all, we don't share with any federal law enforcement, period. There's also a feature called the National Lookup feature, which we turn off unless we need to turn it on for one of our cases.
Okay.
And then we carefully vet the out-of-state agencies that we share with. Now, with our proximity to Wisconsin and Indiana, there's a good reason for us to share with some out-of-state agencies. But I think some other departments had maybe not closely watched the number of out-of-state agencies that they've routinely shared that data with, and they wound up with many hundreds or thousands of agencies being shared with. And then then you're at the whim of what some officer on a task force might do in another state. Lastly, we do regular audits of our system data to make sure that the inquiries are all for lawful law enforcement purposes.
Great.
Thank you.
Okay, yeah, that really helps. I really appreciate that.
Of course.
Thank you.
Yeah, I'm glad it's not being misused because it's
Yeah.
been very successful in helping us
Right.
stop a couple of criminal enterprises.
Yeah, thank you for letting me just wrap this conversation up the way that I start all these conversations. Without a doubt, the most effective use of technology in safeguarding our community in the last 20 years. And so appreciate what the public's concerns are about it, but we prevent crimes and we solve crimes on a daily basis because of this system, and our community is safer as a result. And the neighboring communities are safer as a result of this technology.
Okay, thank you.
Great.
Anything else for? Chris, did you want?
I have a quick question on the clock.
Do you want to come up?
Yeah,
Come up so
let
people
me
can
come
hear
up
you.
Because everyone wants to hear you.
Sure. How does it work? Let me give you the example. My grandson is Alexander R. and his last name. His father was he's Alexander Robber. His father was Alexander Rudolph, who died 5 years ago. He's been stopped twice in the last year by the readers because of a suspended driver's license. Well, his father died 5 years ago. And it's not, is there anything in the information transmitted gives age? Because, I mean, he obviously didn't get a ticket because he's only 22 and his father was 50.
Ms. Meyer, I really can't address that particular circumstance. I can tell you that the Vernon Hills Police Department and the majority of the police departments that I'm aware of use this system only for investigation of criminal matters and not for suspended driver's license. So that's not something that would alert a Vernon Hills police officer. You know, so I really can't speak to the matter other than saying we don't use license plate readers for traffic or regulatory enforcement. We use it for criminal investigative means only.
Because, of course, he inherited the car and he never changed the license. He just renews the same license number.
Yeah, that would be a question for the department that's stopping them because they're
Yeah.
kind of abusing the system.
It was one of our local ones, very close. Thank you.
Okay, anything else from anybody on staff? No? Okay, then the next item is the omnibus vote agenda. Items on the omnibus vote agenda are considered routine and/or non-controversial and will be approved by one motion. If any one board member, staff, or citizen wishes to have a separate vote on any item, it will be pulled and voted on separately. Is there a motion to approve items A through I?
Motion to approve.
Second?
Comments or questions about any items? Hearing none, roll call, please.
Trustee Markwart.
Aye.
Trustee Oppenheim.
Aye.
Trustee Forster.
Aye.
Trustee Schenk.
Aye.
Trustee Lundin.
Aye.
President Cook.
Aye. Motion carries. No unfinished business, correct? Correct. So we have one item on new business. Resolution 2025-060, a resolution adopting a revised investment policy setting the standard for the investment of the village funds. Director Lyons?
Yeah, thank you, sir. So tonight in your board packet is a proposed revised investment policy. Also in your board packet is a memo reflecting the changes from the current policy, the most notable being the extension of allowable maturities to 7 years now. As our investment portfolio grows, this will allow our village funds to basically earn more money while they sit in investments. So I'm happy to take any questions at this time or any comments.
Well, in reading the document itself, the annual audit stays as is correct and will be, that's a part of the safeguard on it. One of the things two questions. All derivative type stuff is absolutely out, correct? If I'm reading that right?
Yes, that's correct.
So anything that's the bundles or that kind of thing?
Structured products, swaps, interest rate swaps, all that stuff, that's a no-go.
Okay.
And that's explicitly stated in the policy.
I did have one question, though, about I was trying to read about the mitigating risk, and it was what percentages could be put in. It was on page 7 of the actual document itself, and I was having trouble understanding why it would say maximum percent by instrument would be 100%. I mean, is that, if we were to move everything into one, but we're generally not doing that, or is that,
Yeah, so you're referring to the table on page 7.
correct?
This identifies all the types of instruments that we're allowed to invest in as a village, and the maximum percent by instrument, which may be 100% or 80%, that's the amount that can be held in the portfolio. So if we look at the first line, U.S. Treasuries, it says 100% is allowed under the policy. So in theory, we could have our whole portfolio in U.S. Treasuries.
So in theory, it could all be there.
Yes.
Okay. Okay. Yeah, those were my only questions. Any other questions or comments from the board? Okay.
Are these percentages, is this from a table elsewhere? Is this sort of a standard best practice, or where do these numbers come from, the maximum percentage by instrument?
So this table has been used in best practices and also in our current policy. And then some of the updates that I mentioned were the maturity column.
Right.
And then a maximum percent by dollar or issuer of U.S. government agencies went from 20% to 25%. That's the only changes. Everything else is exactly the same as current policy.
Okay.
But in terms of these other numbers, like municipal bonds, 50%, is that sort of a standard best practice to do maximum 50, or is this just a number we came up with ages ago?
There is, when I develop this, I do look at best practices and talk to neighbors and understand why we might want to limit things. With some of the other instruments, such as municipal bonds or even commercial or corporate obligations, it's just, they tend to be a little bit more risky. So those are just going to be limited at a certain, whether we pick 50% or 40% or 80%, it's kind of open for interpretation.
Okay.
Anything else from anybody on the board? Then you're looking for approval of this tonight, correct? Okay. In that case, then, is there a motion to approve Resolution 2025-060?
Motion to approve.
Second.
A motion second? If there are no other comments or questions, roll call, please.
Trustee Markwart.
Aye.
Trustee Oppenheim.
Aye.
Trustee Forster.
Aye.
Trustee Schenk. Trustee Lundin.
Aye.
President Cook.
Aye. Motion carries. Okay. Any communications that anyone has? Just a reminder that anybody that knows a veteran or that, next Tuesday, Hawthorne Middle South, from 8 to 9:30, we'll be having a veterans breakfast. So that's always a good event. It's always great to see the middle school kids get together with veterans of different ages. So it's a good event. Anything anybody else has? Okay, in that case, we have no committee of the whole, correct? All right, then in that case, is there a motion to adjourn the board meeting?
Motion to adjourn.
Second?
Motion second. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? The ayes have it. We are adjourned. Thank you and good night.